All right, and we are live.
Live after
Yep, live. We'll just give a little few minutes for a few people to come in. How did you guys make out with the weather today? Was everything good on your end?
Oh my goodness. It was. I actually left early, a little early today, but after I saw the videos and the pictures, and I was so happy that I did, leave early. So,
Yeah, it was scary. I mean, just watching the news, I was like, it's crazy just the amount of flooding that happened today from that brief period of rain.
yeah, I think they had like two tornadoes in Baton Rouge, and they said three in Ascension. I'm like,
Right. I mean, even when I was watching the news, even a meteorologist, he said they weren't even expecting that type of rainfall. So, I mean, you never know.
and then the river is already high. So I'm like,
Exactly. That river was super high yesterday. I was like, ooh, that's not gonna be good.
I keep telling my husband, I'm like, look, even though we're not in the flood zone, you never know. And he's like, we don't have to worry about that. I'm like, okay, like,
Yeah, I mean, you never know. Like today was the first time that my street actually flooded. I mean, back in 2016, we didn't have any flood water. But today, my entire street was flooded.
oh wow.
So we didn't receive any water, but I'm grateful. But you never know. So it's always good to have a flood insurance just in case.
Yes.
So, all right, we're gonna go ahead and get started.
Okay.
So, hey, you guys, it's me, Joanna, and I'm here today with Siedda Hines of GMFS Mortgage. She is a loan officer over there. And of course, you guys know that I'm a realtor here in Baton Rouge with eXp Realty. And today we are going to be discussing 3 things that we think are really important and that we just want to make clarification with the general public about when you're buying a home. So the first thing is going to be, number 1 is going to be discussing your team of experts that helps you with your home purchasing process. Number 2, we're going to talk about negotiating, how to negotiate on a home, and how making a lowball offer can affect you in a negative way and sometimes even a positive way, which is kind of rare, but it can happen. And number 3 is the importance of a pre-approval and why you need a pre-approval before you start shopping for a home. So back to the first question, like I was saying, one of the things that a lot of people don't understand is our roles as a team helping you to purchase a home. You definitely have to have a team, and that team consists of your realtor, your lender, and your title company. You want to make sure that you have a team that's going to help you through this process and is very knowledgeable about the process. But what we want to do is make sure that you guys know what our roles are when it comes to helping you to purchase your home. I'm going to let Siedda kick it off with what the loan officer's part is, because that is one of the most important parts when it comes to purchasing your home.
Yeah, so my role as a mortgage loan originator, I help the client to obtain the financing or the loan to purchase a home. So it's very important to come and meet with me and see what you qualify for, because you definitely don't want to look for something that you can't afford. So I also say that I'm the facilitator as well,
Right.
because even though, we focus on the mortgage side of it, there's other factors that's included in the mortgage. So you have your taxes, that's included, and your insurance as well. So even though I focus on the lending side or the money side, I still would consider myself as a facilitator, because I have to get the client from start to finish when it comes to the home loan process. So, I always tell clients, you need a team. Don't think you can do it on your own. And if you don't ask, then how will we know when you don't understand something? And the good thing about a team is 3 heads are better than 1. So if it's something that I haven't experienced or you haven't experienced or the title company, we have enough experience to be able to solve a problem when something does arise. Because problems do occur, just being honest and transparent. Problems do occur, but as your mortgage loan originator, my job is to make sure that I mitigate and eliminate those problems as much as possible, because things come up in the process. So we want to make sure that we do a good job up front, do the heavy lifting up front. That way, when we submit the file to the underwriter, it's not a problem.
Exactly. I always think, my thing is, I do think that the loan officer is the facilitator of the deal. A lot of people kind of have it a little, backwards, because they do contact the realtor first. So I definitely want to tell you guys what my role is as your realtor. So my role as a realtor is to help you not only find your dream home, but also to negotiate on your behalf. I don't really have anything to do with the financing, but I do surround myself with a team of people that can help you get the financing. And I like to say that the people that I do use, I'd like to use the top people, and I like to use people that communicate well. But once we find a home that you guys are looking for, my job is to make sure that you are getting a great deal. I want to make sure that the home meets your criteria. I want to make sure that we have an inspection. And I also want to make sure that you're getting a fair price on the home and getting everything that you need on the back end as far as closing costs and things of that nature. The most important thing to me is that people trust the team of people that they're working with. You have to trust your realtor, you have to trust your lender, and you have to be open and honest with us. Like, it doesn't hurt our feelings if you don't like a home. It doesn't, hurt our feelings if you just feel like things aren't going the right way. That's what we're here for, to make sure that you understand this process and that everything goes smoothly for you. Another key component is the title company as well. And we'll get into that a little later, but the title company is a key component because they're going to make sure that that title is clear before it transfers over to you when you're buying a home. But that's something that we'll talk about later. We'll have a title expert come on and we'll get into that later. Okay. So the next thing on our list today is going to be talking about low ball offers. Okay. I get a lot of people that do want to do lowball offers. And I think as a first time home buyer, you just want to get the best deal that you can possibly get.
Correct.
And I trust me, I understand that. I definitely, if anybody understands that, I always want to get something on a deal. So I think that's the perception when people are purchasing a home. They want to get the best price that they can possibly get. But it can affect you in a negative way, especially when it comes to your lending side, especially if you need closing costs. Making a lowball offer can definitely affect you in a negative light, where sometimes you may not even get the closing costs that you need and will still have to come out of pocket with a substantial amount of money just to make the deal happen. What do you say about that, Siedda, about the lowball offers?
Closing costs is so important because, and I'll just be, honest with you. We're in Louisiana, so a lot of clients, a lot of first-time home buyers, they don't have the funds for a down payment and closing costs. And sometimes the closing costs can be $5,000, $7,000, $10,000, depending on what size house you're looking for. So on my end, I kind of explain to the client that, hey, look, if you were on the other side or if the shoe was on the other foot, you would want, the best value for your home if you were selling it to someone else. The other thing is closing costs. So you have two costs associated with buying a house. You have your down payment and you have your closing costs.
Right.
The closing costs is still ultimately the responsibility of the buyer. So if you don't, get the seller to pay those closing costs, you're still responsible for it. So that's why it's important not to go in and lowball, because if you go in and let's say they're offering, they want to sell the house for 180 and you're saying, oh, well, I know I can talk them down. I hear it all the time. I can talk them down to 175 or to 172. You have to understand that now you're cutting into their profit margin. So the more you cut into their profit margin, the more that they're not going to want to pay as much in closing costs. And it's very important to get those closing costs paid for, because again, sometimes things arise and you definitely don't want to get caught with your pants down where something, comes up and you may need more closing costs than you thought, you needed. So it's good to, get with Joanna. And I know you're excellent at negotiating. So I don't have to worry, so, and then on my end, it helps us out, because if the realtor can go in and negotiate the seller to pay all your closing costs, then, sometimes I have clients who come to closing with no money. Or if it's a down payment program, then I have clients who come to closing with just their down payment. So that getting the closing costs from the seller is very, very important.
Extremely important. And one question that I have, Siedda, is like, say for instance, if you are going in, maybe like you said, on a house that's maybe 180,000 and you want to offer 175,000, is that a significant decrease in your mortgage?
No, I'm so glad that you mentioned that, because a lot of times clients think that, hey, if you drop the price by $5,000, even $10,000,
right,
it's not much. Every $5,000, I think the payment is maybe $22.
Wow.
So if you go from 180 to 175, you're thinking, man, I'm talking down 5,000, but your payment is only changing by $22. Why not, hey, let me offer full price or whatever whatever you think is best for the client, and get more closing costs paid. That way your out-of-pocket expenses up front won't eat into your savings or your, wherever those funds are coming from. So that's actually a good point. If it was me and I was buying a house, then I would rather more closing costs than talking them down, thinking about my monthly payment.
Exactly. And in some scenarios, you guys, I don't want you guys to get it twisted. In some scenarios, there are times where a house may be overpriced. And that's what I'm here for, to make sure that we're paying a fair price on a property. So before you even make an offer on a home, I would never tell you to just go in full price until I check the neighborhood to see what the comps are, to make sure that we're making a fair offer on it. So I just wanted to clear that up. I think we're
zero. They need to go to you.
Right. Exactly. Come to me. Yeah. And I will help you guys to get clarification on what you should be paying for that particular home. Okay. And so our last question, which is a very important topic, is getting a pre-approval before you start home shopping. A lot of times the general public comes to me first, and you guys, I have no problems with you coming to me first at all. But before you can go out and shop for homes, you definitely need to know what you are pre-approved for. And that's why whenever you contact a realtor, and I know for some people it can be a little annoying, but we try to guide you in the right direction. And the first thing we want to know is, are you pre-approved? And if you're not, we try to direct you in the path of going to a lender. And we do that because we don't want you to be out shopping for homes and you're not pre-approved and you fall in love with something, and then we miss out on it because we have to wait for you to get pre-approved to even purchase a home. So Siedda, tell us more just about the pre-approval process and what it is that you need in order to help people get pre-approved.
So it's actually very important to get pre-approved first. And not only we don't want you to fall in love with a house that you may not can afford, you also don't want to fall in love with a house and you can qualify for more. Because I see that all the time. I had a client recently where, he was like, hey, I saw this house for $100,000. I really, really wanted it. And I said, well, okay, let me look at the numbers. Let me pull credit. And he was qualified for like $225. Right. And he was like, well, I didn't know I could afford a house like that, so it's very good to get pre-approved first. When we do the pre-approval, so we have a couple of different ways. Either we can do an online application, we can do a phone application, or we can do an in-person application. But that's the first step for the pre-approval. And during that application stage, we look at your debt, your income, and your credit score. Those three things together, debt, income, credit score,
right,
let us know what programs you qualify for and how much money you qualify for. So yes, credit is important, but it's a small fragmentation of what it takes to get pre-approved. So debt, income, and credit score is what we look at to determine how much the client is pre-approved for. And then from there, what we do is once we look at their application, then we request their income and asset documentation. And it's not that, hey, we feel like the client isn't telling us the truth, but sometimes, let's say for income, the client may say, hey, look, I make $50,000 a year. But when I look at their pay stubs, when I request their verification of employment, they may have bonus, they may have overtime, they may have shift differential. And a lot of times clients think that, oh, it's just simple math, and it's not. We have to look at those different things certain ways. So we request those documents from the client to make sure that what they said on their application is actually what's accurate. So it's not that, oh, we think they're telling a tale. We just have to make sure that, the calculations and everything is accurate. And then from there, as long as everything checks out, then we give them a pre-approval letter. If everything doesn't check out, meaning maybe they have to work on their credit or their debt or something, isn't quite right with their income, then we give them what's called an action plan. So the client will leave with one of two things, either a pre-approval letter so they can go and start looking for their house, or an action plan.
Exactly. And I'm glad you said that about the action plan, because guys, we never want you to get deterred from reaching out to us because you may have credit issues. We have a plan for that. We have people for that. We have a plan that can actually help you. A lot of people start off with some credit issues, and trust me, we have a plan that can help you get to where you need to be to purchase a home. So never let your credit be a deterrent from reaching out to one of us to see about starting a home buying process. Okay.
And I also tell clients too, and I'm doing better on my upfront approach because every client is different. So I let them know every client is different. So that pre-approval process, it may take literally a week for one client. It may take 30 days for another. It may take 6 months to a year for another client. And that's because everybody's financial situation is different. But if you're not quite ready yet, then I do let the client know it's not no, it's just not yet. But here are the things that you need to do to be able to get pre-approved. And if you want to get pre-approved, at least I probably would say 3 to 6 months before you want to buy a house.
Exactly. I agree. So I appreciate everybody that tuned in today. Siedda, you had any extra things you wanted, any extra knowledge you wanted to drop? You good?
I'm fine. Yeah.
All right. So you guys, we're going to try to be bringing you these videos at least once a month and sharing knowledge with you guys about this home buying process, because we just want to make this as transparent as we possibly can and make people feel comfortable about buying a home. The more you know, the more comfortable you will feel. So if y'all have any particular questions, or if you guys are looking to start this process, feel free to reach out to us. I'll make sure that I put our information below the video, and please like and share the video if it was knowledgeable to you. Again, it's Joanna Arnold with eXp Realty, and I have my girl Siedda Hines here with GMFS Mortgage here in Baton Rouge. You guys have a great day and stay out of the waters that are
be careful.
We're expecting more rain tomorrow and today. So you guys have a great day. Bye-bye.